Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So last week I showed you guys a bunch of the new parts we have for both the Fusion and the Camaro, and we actually just installed the new spoiler on the Camaro. Video's over here if you want to check that out. It came out really good. I did that video with Yvette, and today we get to install the side skirts on the Fusion. So it's basically just aero on top of aero that we've been doing. This is the new spoiler that we just installed. As you can see, it's in this nice matte black, or primer black rather. Yet to be painted, but it has this nice workable extension. Still a lot of more work to do on that car. But nonetheless, we're turning our attention towards the Fusion today, and we have them here in the back, I think. Yeah, so here they are. None of these other boxes. It's basically just this one. It is basically similar to how the old splitter was in that it's 3 pieces. It just kind of screws on, and it does come with hardware. It should be a pretty casual install. Shouldn't be too difficult. But let's just go ahead and get to it. Now, the first thing that I'll say is it definitely helps if you have a jack to get more clearance for underneath your car. But I do know a good amount of you guys don't have the space or the setup for that, so we're basically just going to do it as is. The car is stock height, so it shouldn't be too difficult. The main thing is as long as you can get a screw angled upwards underneath the car, that's basically all that the install is. So this is the kit right here. It's really nothing special. You have the 3 pieces. This is the winglet style. So if you were to actually get that old 3-piece splitter that I had initially on the car, this would actually be a good match for it because it does have, the winglet. But you basically have the rear piece, the center section, and the front piece that goes closest to the front wheel well. You have your screws, brackets again, and then your instruction. And as you can see here, it's basically the same exact install as the 3-piece splitter was. The only difference are these brackets, which are basically going to be extra support to kind of keep it steady and secure, which is definitely appreciated. But that's about it. A lot of you guys were asking for the link for this specific part. It is in the description box down below. Again, this isn't anything crazy. This is a universal kit. I only specifically got this one because it could be here the soonest and I was wanting to get to work on the car again. But again, it has this nice gloss finish, so it should look pretty good with the rest of the car. But yeah, basically first thing you want to do is piece the side skirts together. So that's basically that, and then from there you're going to use these brackets, and as you can see, some of these have that little raise in the center. Those go right there, basically they're that support in the bridging areas, and then you have 6 more of these pieces that are basically going to be the support for the rest of this piece. And being that it's 6 left, I'm probably going to end up doing 3 towards the back, 2 here in the center, and then 1 in the front. The rear section with the winglet is probably going to be the heaviest, so I do want to put the most support there. And it would also help if you use some double-sided tape to kind of hold it in position. I think I'm all out, but nonetheless should be able to do it as long as I can keep a support up, which I will show you guys how I do that in a second. Never mind, I found some. Now this isn't going to be necessary for the install, but it will help with the positioning. Alright, so off camera I cleaned up a little bit. It's not perfect, but it's a little better. Main thing is I just use some rubbing alcohol so that I can get the double-sided tape to stick. So now I'm just trying to casually mock it up. Just got some random stuff around the garage. But the main goal here is basically just see how far out I want it to go. See where it lines up with this rocker right here, and then from there we can put some double-sided tape on, stick it on, and then just start screwing. I would also suggest opening your door because it is a factor when you open doors, seeing the side skirt there and actually possibly stepping on it. So you do want a good bit of clearance there. I think this is about where I want it. Now it's not the full length of the body, but as I told you guys in the last video, it's more just a feeler. If I end up liking it, I'll probably end up upgrading to another one, either the 30 carbon side skirt or another winglet style that's actually Fusion specific. So I think this is about where I want it. Now there is a curve outward over here towards the end, so I'm trying to basically account for that while keeping it looking somewhat straight because it is a little waved, whereas the side skirt itself is pretty just straight and directional. It is sitting on the wooden planks right now, but once it actually comes up, it'll open out. But I think this is about it. Now I can get some double-sided tape on there and get to actually mounting it. Here it is with some double-sided tape. Now just to reposition it, put it back in, and then we'll start with the screws. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that, so now I can go ahead and get to the screws. I'm sorry it's getting dark, but I will show you guys a little bit more in depth tomorrow whenever we got some more light out. But I mean, it's basically just putting the bracket on and screwing it in. Really nothing to it. All right, guys, we're all wrapped up. I actually finished last night, and it was actually really easy once you get the rhythm down. I did film the whole thing, but it was really repetitive. It was literally just this over and over again. Just, you know, drilling the screws in. So yeah, super easy and super approachable for sure. I do have a few notes that I want to give you guys in case you're going to want to do the same install with the same piece. So here you can see the piece installed, and the first note that I do want to give is that the little panel that it's attaching to does have a subtle curve to it on the underside, so you do want to be mindful of that whenever you're mounting it, because if you mount it a little off, you can actually get a good bit of curve to it. It won't be as noticeable, granted, because you're basically only seeing one portion of the side skirt. It can mess with the alignment of the winglet and have it actually flare inward, but it is pretty malleable, so if you were to get to that point, you could probably fix it. Now, this is going to be a little bit harder to see, but nonetheless, I do want to show you guys where the screws are. And now they're relatively evenly spaced, but I did try to prioritize the location to where it wasn't as tight. And basically what I did was putting pressure in random areas and kind of saw where the most give was and prioritizing that area for the screws. It does still end up being about even throughout, but I did want to at least give that note because it does help out with the grand scheme of things, and gives it a little bit more of that secure feeling. Also, it'll help you out if you drill a hole in the side skirt first, because I will say it is a little rigid, so basically getting the screws in there on their own is a little difficult, so I did do pilot holes just to make the install a little bit easier. So basically that's just a little tip that I have personally. And the last note that I'll give is that, as you can see, it doesn't actually go the full length of the car, it's just a couple inches short. But I did want to prioritize getting it lined up right here, so that line was flush. But again, it's not the end of the world. As you guys know, I'm probably going to end up upgrading this piece anyway. But if I do end up upgrading this piece, I have a question for you guys, and that's basically, which side skirt do I go with? There's two that I'm looking at, the 3D Carbon side skirt and the Rally Innovation side skirt. Now, one is basically going to be more fitting to the front lip that I have, whereas the other is going to allow for a little bit more for the car. So the first one would be the 3D Carbon side skirt. As you guys know, I have the 3D Carbon front lip. There's actually a full ground effects kit, so they have the lip, the side skirt, and even a diffuser. But as you guys know, I have the Fusion Sport rear lower valance, and their diffuser is only for titanium trims, basically the thin dual exhaust outlet, so it wouldn't actually fit. So basically, the body line from the front lip is actually brought down, and it would do the same right here, only thing being that it actually replaces the panel. But my reservation is that I won't be able to carry it all the way to the back, which is basically my question to you guys. Do I do that, or do I go with the Rally Innovations one, which I've actually had my eye on for a little bit? It's available on cd3performance.com, so that's a big plus for me. I've been wanting to buy more stuff from there, and I love CD3 Performance. It would basically be just about the same style. I think the winglet's just a little bit different, but it would obviously cover the length of the body, which would be a big plus if I'm wanting to keep this style. Basically, the ideology for that is that if I were to keep that style, I wouldn't have as much of a gap in the styling, because they also have a rear splitter that I think would fit with this, and I could basically carry it out through the back. So let me know what you guys think, 3D Carbon or Rally Innovations. For the time being, I'll be enjoying this one. This one came out really good. I'm actually really happy with it. And it was a super easy install, especially once you get the rhythm going. And by the rhythm going, I basically just mean you have all the parts you need with you, because I was switching back and forth between bits to drill the holes and whatnot. And then just having all the hardware next to you, because I'll admit I did end up having to get up a few times because I couldn't find it. And it was literally right next to me. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of beside the point. And then obviously you can go as aggressive as you want. I wanted a more casual look, just because I didn't necessarily want this to be as noticeable, because you are going to feel it whenever you step in and out of the vehicle, if it's a little too further out. So that's definitely a helpful factor with the universal side skirt, but we'll see what we end up with. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.